First, I'm assembling all of my supplies that I need for this recipe. So let me turn you around and I'll show you what I have. First of all, I have yeast. I have some honey. I have some salt. I have some oil. I have some flour. I have a 2-cup measuring and a bowl and 2 loaf pans. If I've read the recipe correctly, that should be correct. First, I'm going to get warm water, 2 cups of warm water. Into the warm water, I am going to put, let me get my measuring spoon. Hold on, let's get it all over here. I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of yeast. This is my tablespoon right here. This yeast is a little bit on the old side, so I'm going to put in a little bit, teeny bit extra there just in case. And let me give that a slight stir. Okay. Then I'm going to put in a pinch of honey. My honey's getting fairly solid, so let's go down in there and get it. Okay, so that needs to sit there. That needs to sit there for 5 or 10 minutes. So I'll come back in about 10 minutes and show you what's next. Okay, next I'm going to put 3, just a minute, let me look and see here. I need to put 3 cups of flour in my bowl. One, 2, 3. Then I need 1/4 of a cup of honey. It can be, you can use sugar, 1/4, and that is 4 tablespoons. So this is a 2 tablespoon. I layered it with oil so the honey would go out easily. So 2 of these full. Let me get the honey open here. My honey is real solid. 1. Put that down in the middle. That came out easy. Okay, and two. So that adds up to 4 tablespoons. And I need salt. I need 2 teaspoons of salt. This is my teaspoon and sugar, honey, salt, oil. I need, how much oil? I need 2 tablespoons of oil. Where'd my tablespoon go? Here it is. Whoa. Okay. And let me get out a spoon to stir this with. But honey is going to be a little difficult to soften up. So I'll need to put my yeast mixture in there. See how it's all bubbly. And then I'm going to stir this all together nicely. Okay. So I'm going to stir that, and I'm not going to have you watch me stir it. After I get it stirred good, I'm going to add 1 more cup of flour, and then after I do that, I can start mixing that, and then add a 1/2 cup at a time until it gets just the right consistency. And the recipe says to use a mixing bowl, an implement, but I'm just going to do it by hand. All right, it's getting there. I put in another 1/2 cup. The recipe says 4.5 to 5 cups, and I think that's right about where I am right now. So you can see it's getting almost there. Just needs to be a tiny bit stiffer. And I'll keep once I get this mixed in, then I'll start kneading it. I'll need to use my hands to do that. Well, I'll stir quite a bit, and then I'll start kneading with my hands and get it all kneaded up. I'm supposed to do that for 10 minutes or so, maybe 5 minutes, I don't know, until it gets to be just right. It was still a little bit sticky, but I greased the bowl and I covered it, and we're going to let this rise. The reason I left it a little bit sticky, it had used the amount of flour that the recipe said, and from past experience, if I use more flour, it becomes too dense and it's not as good. So I decided just leave it a little bit sticky, and we'll go from there. It felt yeasty, so hopefully it rises nicely. I don't always have the best luck with bread, but we'll see what happens. That's going to sit and rise until it's doubled, and the recipe says it'll take about an hour to an hour and a half. And I have it sitting over near the stove, but the stove isn't running right now, so if the stove turns on, we heat with heating oil. If the stove turns on, it'll get a little warmer there. But we'll see. The temperature in here, according to the thermometer, is 72, so it should rise okay. Yeah, we'll see. So I'll be back with you in about an hour and a half. I cleaned up part of my mess, And I'm ready to sit and wait. Okay, I've divided this into two in the loaf pans, and I'll cover it back up and let it rise again. It's supposed to take about 45 minutes. 350 degrees for 33 minutes. It's looking pretty good. In just a little bit, I'll turn them out of the pans onto the rack. I had a little trouble getting them out of the pan. I had used butter to grease the pan, but apparently that didn't work that well. But I got them out. And I'm going to test this little part right here that came off. Tastes like bread. Well, Merry Christmas, everybody. May God's love and blessings surround you. I'll see you on my next video.